Big news here. A Defense Intelligence Agency analyst has been arrested for leaking classified weapons information to two reporters, including one that he was romantically involved with. Henry Kyle Friese, 30 years old, was arrested today for allegedly leaking classified materials to two journalists. Before his arrest today, this analyst had been very critical against President Donald Trump on social media. He'd made several anti-Trump tweets on his Twitter page. And they also point out how on the same social media page, he regularly complimented this reporter that he was leaking information to and had this alleged relationship with. He was living with one of these journalists. They say he allegedly leaked the information about a foreign country's weapons systems to two journalists in 2018 and 2019. Friese had top security clearance in his role as a counterterrorism analyst with the Defense Intelligence Agency. Authorities say that Friese was in a romantic relationship with one of the reporters. The reporters have been identified as CNBC's national security reporter Amanda Macias and NBC's national security reporter Courtney Cube. They have a picture of Henry from his Facebook page. Article from today says the Defense Intelligence Agency analyst has been arrested for allegedly leaking classified materials to these two journalists. They have photos here of the two reporters that he was leaking this information to, Amanda Macias here and Courtney Cube. This is a photo of Henry, the defense analyst, with the reporter that he was leaking to. Social media picture of the two together from October of 2017. They're noting that he was arrested after he showed up for work this morning. This analyst, who had top security clearance, is charged with 2 counts of willful transmission of national defense information, according to the U.S. Justice Department. While the Justice Department did not name the journalists, they have been identified as CNBC's national security reporter Amanda Macias and NBC's national security reporter Courtney Cube. Justice Department have said that each reporter worked for a different outlet owned by the same parent company. Now, they highlight one of these stories that Amanda Macias had reported on based on this info that was leaked. When the first journalist tweeted a link to her story, this defense intelligence analyst later retweeted the article. Kyle Friese, from his personal Twitter account, retweeted the article from the journalist, according to these court documents. Friese has reportedly retweeted several of Macias's stories about national security issues. Descriptions of tweets included in the court documents match those sent out by Macias and Cube last year. Friese was allegedly living with one of the reporters in Virginia at the time. According to court documents, Friese had accessed an intelligence report unrelated to his job duties on multiple occasions in mid-April to early May last year. A week after he accessed the report for the second time, he allegedly received a Twitter direct message from the first reporter asking if he would be willing to speak to a second journalist. He said he was down to help if it helped her because he wanted to see her progress, according to the court filings. He spoke to both journalists on April 27th, 2018, soon after he looked at the intelligence report again. The first journalist then published an online article about 30 minutes after they spoke that contained classified national defense information. When the first journalist tweeted a link to her story, Friese later retweeted the article, according to the court documents. Friese has previously retweeted several of Macias' stories about national security issues. On September the 11th this year, the FBI intercepted a phone call between Friese and the first journalist discussing the second reporter and her assignments at work. Friese then allegedly spoke to the second reporter after accessing further intelligence reports on September 24th. He is accused of giving that reporter classified information. At that point, his phone was being tracked on a court-authorized surveillance. Authorities have said that the disclosure of the classified materials could have caused serious harm to U.S. national security. This, they note, marks the sixth federal case involving leaks of classified information in a little over 2 years. It's part of a wider crackdown on leakers that has been initiated by the Trump administration in 2017. Federal officials have told reporters that Friese had no reason to access this information on the system and did so solely to help the reporters. So this does seem significant given that this analyst had a top secret security clearance. This indictment, including the 2 counts of willful transmission of national defense information to persons not entitled to receive it. A quote from today from the Assistant Attorney General for National Security reads, Friese was caught red-handed disclosing sensitive national security information for personal gain. He betrayed the trust placed in him by the American people, a betrayal that risked harming the national security of this country. This is one of 6 unauthorized disclosure cases the department has charged in just over 2 years. We will continue in our efforts to punish and deter this behavior. Friese and the journalist had the same residential address for a year, starting in August of 2017. And based on Friese's social media pages, quote, it appears that they were involved in a romantic relationship for some or all of that period of time, the feds said in a statement. The release of the unspecified secrets could be, quote, expected to cause exceptionally grave harm to the national security of the United States, they've said, declining to elaborate, though. If convicted, Friese faces a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison on each count. The feds would not say during a conference call whether the 2 journalists would be prosecuted or talk about specifics. In his biography, Friese says that he has spent 5 years' experience as a strategic analyst and management consultant. Friese says that he has worked with the defense and intelligence community. He also says that he has worked as a policy analyst and intelligence analyst and covered, quote, a diverse portfolio of topics. His own Twitter page, which is still up as of this time, says that he is now focused on research in West Africa, and he is a graduate of Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Law enforcement received a court order in late August to surveil Friese's cell phone and were able to trace hundreds of phone calls and texts between Friese and the reporters, during some of which the classified information was referenced. The last communication between Friese and either journalist came as recently as Monday, according to a search warrant affidavit unsealed Wednesday. Officials say that the journalist with whom Friese was romantically linked published 8 articles containing classified material accessed by Friese, one of which was linked in a retweet sent from Friese's Twitter account. As many as 5 intelligence reports were compromised by the disclosures, authorities have said, and according to court documents, Friese was one of only 26 people who accessed all 5 during that time. So this arrest seems like a significant update coming from the Department of Justice. Tell me what you think about the case so far. I will continue to follow this and any related details. I do have a link in the video description to my Patreon and PayPal accounts where you can support the channel. If you could leave a like on this video, that's greatly appreciated, and subscribe to the channel. I will follow up soon. Thanks, everyone.